and you probably have a lot of formations below your feet. And no, you are very safe. You don't need to worry about anything like that happening now. So we'll end that there. But if you have more questions, feel free to ask. All right. We're going to continue on walking amongst our stalagmites. There's a stalagmite. Just a little longer.
Standing on the spot here.
I know, okay. So you're putting your hand down for it. Where are you going?
Go anywhere.
You're going crazy is what you are doing.
So off on your right-hand side, you're going to have a little overhang. Put your lantern in there, and you actually get aragonite. That's a different type of a calcium compound, but it creates more of a sharp-looking crystal.
I know.
Okay. Hey, you're missing out. There you go.
He's going around. Is
Addie, come here.
What about? Is up no longer an option? Oh, up's not an option. There's too many stalactites and stalagmites. Okay. Listen, I may not have the best camera hand, but only got one hand available, so.
Alright, if you've been getting a little hungry, we do have a nice snack for you coming up on the left. This is the chocolate factory. I'm just kidding, you cannot eat that. But it does look a lot like chocolate. This is a lot of clay that has a thin layer of calcite going over it, but creates a really nice waterfall that eventually makes it all the way down to the stream we've been walking along. And in parts of it, you can also notice there are small cracks within that calcite. It's so heavy that every once in a while it drifts away and then has to re-solidify. The only thing holding this part of it up is just this little rock sitting below us. If this part fell, more than likely everything back here falls, but just this branch would fall off. Everything else would stay. There'd be a huge crack. If that would fall, it would hurt the cave. It wouldn't hurt the cave. You'd hear a noise if you were inside. It's probably very unlikely that you'd be inside at that time. But that'd be about it. It would just fall over and it change the way the water flows a little bit. And then eventually it would just start to create another layer of calcite over top. Alright, as you come down this hill, this is a really slippery hill. I recommend a nice sidewalk or side shuffle as you come down. And also if you're tall and careful not to hit your head with
Yeah, you gotta stay in the back. There's a caboose. That's what you signed up for. Caboose. Caboose. Remember, you helped lock us in.
Go see it. Lots to get the concrete laid in.
What?
It takes a lot to bring concrete from outside. You think about that.
Yeah. Yeah. The second chocolate factory. Ooh, I think somebody fell. Well, that wouldn't make sense. It's a right foot. Unless they had their shoes on backwards. Yeah.
You got a bridge here, and then watch your hand get cleaned up.
Don't.
Watch your step, baby. Don't power past it. Like, just get behind him. Good. Did you finally get a two? Okay, what happened? Okay. Next time I'll bring your jacket, okay? Here, stop. And get that poopy in.
Well.
Absolutely. Feel free to give us a call. Oh yeah, I also teach, so I understand those opportunities. All right, my friends, so we walked by this already once today, but I do want to stop here now. We have a really interesting stalagmite that is developing, and you can actually see the splash of it coming up. I want to turn my camera so I don't blind anyone. We have that splash at the top of it. This is called splash cup because it makes a little cup imprint almost. What's happening here is the water is coming down too fast for the stalagmite to grow up entirely, so it adds a little bit up, but then just creates the splash effect instead. And you can actually look up and find the stalactite that feeds it. And if you look, you'll also notice that stalactite has changed shapes over time. It used to be over here, and it's moved, and then moved this way, and now it's right here dripping down. And you can even follow the exact same water droplet down to the tip of the splash, which is a really fun thing to do with your eyes. But you'll notice on the ground our stalagmite has mimicked that stalactite. This was the old splash area, way over here. And then for some reason, that area stopped having water flow. So it moved over a little bit to this location where you have some of our old cups that have since sealed and where it currently drips from today. And this is a great thing to help us really understand that caves are not staying the same. They're dynamic, they're not static. They change over time, whether it simply be from water or animals coming back to them that haven't used them before. They're ever changing. Even if it means a flood comes through and changes something on the ground, or simply your stalactite changes where water comes into. And this formation also, our splash cup, once we get into August, you have to wait almost a minute here before a splash comes down. Because by then, it is dry. We don't have as much waterfall, there's not as much water retained in the area above us, so the water takes a lot longer to actually drip into the cave.
Does the humidity stay the same pretty much year round?
The humidity does stay about the same year round. It fluctuates just a little bit, but it stays at about 97, 98%. So pretty high. You might also notice every once in a while some weather stations, not exact weather stations, but we do have a thermometer and a humidity station set up inside the cave. And those are really to help some of our kids that are learning about caves for the first time understand exactly how they work, how that temperature stays the same and the humidity stays the same. And your rock around you allows for that constant temperature and constant humidity level. Now, the one other formation we haven't got to see a lot of, but this one has a little bit more, is cave popcorn. Cave popcorn are all those small bumps you see along the side of the stalagmite. This is not the best example of cave popcorn, but it is a small one, so I still like to point it out. Typically, cave popcorn forms more underwater rather than on top of another formation. More than likely, this one's forming on top of another formation simply because of the drops coming off and where that water drips down to. The whole time that water is in the air, it's still losing carbon dioxide and is able to leave more calcite behind. So this isn't your cave popcorn that forms underwater, but it is one that's forming as water splashes from the top of the cup into a different spot. All right, we have just a couple more stops to make. The next one is not going to be too far away, but it does have more signs of life. So keep your eyes peeled. I promise you will not step on anything this time, but keep looking around you.
This one. Back around to the start.